Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So in this video, I'm just going to be showing you guys a few archaeology money making methods. It is pretty early, the skill has only been out for a few days, but you can already see some money making methods that do exist. The only problem right now is the prices are a bit unstable, so I will make an updated guide later on, but right now it does seem like this is the best way to make some money off of archaeology. And since the skill just released, you can make a ton of money. So right now, I know some methods are well over 10 mil per hour, but of course, the prices may not always be this high. So I would say that this money making method will be this good probably for the next week or two. Now, from training the skill over the past few days, I have seen two ways to make money. So the first one is collect and sell materials. So you can do this by just digging at the excavation sites. You can also go to material caches and gather the materials that way. You'll probably gather more materials per hour, more the specific ones at least, and then you can sell them on the Grand Exchange for a lot of profit. And then the second way is restoring artifacts to get Chronotes to sell. So this you'll be excavating the certain sites that give the artifacts. You'll also get materials along with this. So you'll restore these artifacts and then give them to the museum collector or some of the other collectors. They also give Chronotes. And anyway, when you do this, you'll get the Chronotes. I believe they're selling for around 2.5k each right now. So you can also make a ton of money off of this. I know completing the first collection gives you around 2,000 Chronotes, so that's about 5 mil right now if Chronotes are selling for the current price, which they probably will be for a while. Also, before I start, here is a list of some useful items that you should bring when you are trying to make money off of archaeology. So first is Grace of the Elves. Make it fully charged with Sign of the Porter. That way you can actually transport all of your materials directly to your material box. So it will save you a lot of inventory and time. So that's a really useful thing to bring. Of course, the soil box, it will get rid of soil and just store it in there. Then you can always drop it because it doesn't seem like it is worth very much. And then of course the archaeology journal. This is a quick teleport to the archaeology guild where you can then just access all the dig sites. Also, the Water Fiend Familiar is really useful for both of these money-making methods. So what the Water Fiend Familiar does, it gives you a 5% chance to double either the material or the artifact that you are collecting. So just having that extra chance of getting double is really great. The only problem with this is the Water Fiend Familiar does come with Ancient Summoning, which is unlocked at level 68 archaeology. So some people have gotten here, but since not many people have, the price for this familiar is relatively high. I think around 500k to 1 mil. So first I'm going to show you guys how to collect materials. So first go to your archaeology skill guide, and from here you can click on any material that you would like and it will show you the material cache for that material. So for example, the Chaotic Brimstone says that the cache is in Daemonheim, southwest of the excavation site. So just check out the map on Daemonheim and it will show the excavation symbol and the cache will be right around there. So it is pretty easy to find and you can just check this for any materials. Of course, the higher level materials, they will be more expensive right now. So here's just a clip of material cache that I was doing on release day. I actually sold this stuff for a ton of money. I think I made around 2 or 3 mil in 5 minutes because I didn't want to spend too much time on it. But as you can see, I was getting Orphan Glass and I sold it for a lot. So just 20 of them sold for over 1 mil. It was over 50k per material. Right now, I believe the price should be around 20k. So it still is pretty high. And I do expect a lot of these materials to stay right around 20 to 30k at least for another week or two, because the skill does seem like it is relatively slow. People aren't leveling up that fast. So that being said, I'm thinking the prices for the materials should stay pretty high for a while, since a lot of people will be buying them, trying to level up. Now another cache that I went and did was the Everlight Slivthrill and the Star of Saradomin. So this cache is just located right under Barrows. It does require 51 archaeology to do. And I was selling this stuff for about 50k each.
So I made a lot of money off of this. Surprisingly, when I sold them though, the price went up to over 100k each. So as you can see, I sold around 100 of them and made 10 mil from this. So that was really crazy. And I was only at the cache for roughly an hour. So as you can see, I made a lot of money from that 1 hour. I made a little bit over 10 mil. Now the prices for these two materials have decreased somewhat. Now the Star Cerumen is worth around 50k and the Slivthrill is worth a little bit less. But it still is a really good money making method. You guys can make a ton of money off of this. And then if you go up to higher materials, of course, you'll make some more. You just have to stay relatively close to the best player because, you know, the top 100 players, they're really spending a ton of money on the skill, trying to be the first one to max it. And so here's a price check of most of the materials. So a lot of these are the lower level materials, up to level about 51, I believe. So they are pretty good. And as you can see, the lowest it goes is 11k for the Imperial Steel, which is right at the beginning. You get that at Chronotes. But most of the materials, they are listed at around 20 to 30k, especially sort of the mid-range materials right now, level 30, 40 materials. And you can sort of see how much money you can make per hour since all the materials are this high. And I'm pretty sure you can gather around 200 to 300 materials per hour, depending on your archaeology level and the tool you're using and all that. But just gathering that many materials and they're worth this much, you can see you can make at least 5 or 6 mil per hour. And if you're an even higher level, gathering the level 60 materials or 65 materials, then you'll make a lot more money. I know a lot of those materials, they're going close to 100k. So you can make easily over 10 mil per hour right now, just depending on the material that you are gathering. And so the next method is selling Chronotes. So the best way to get Chronotes is by selling the artifacts. So you will have to do excavation in the actual dig sites for this. You'll also gain some materials, but you'll probably need to use them to restore these artifacts. The good thing about this method is that you will also be getting a lot of archaeology XP. Most of the XP you get from archaeology seems to be from these artifacts. They give a lot. So you will gain some levels doing this as well. Not to say you wouldn't gain levels gathering materials, but you get more XP for the restoring artifacts part of it. So when you restore an artifact, you want to go to a collector. There's a lot of them around. The museum collector is just right here. And you can cash in these artifacts. So just click contribute and you'll get some Chronotes for it. And also if you complete a full set, you'll get a reward, which usually is Chronotes if you're giving them to this museum collector. So once you do restore these artifacts, you can cash them in with this collector, although you can only cash them in once per collector until you complete the full collection. So as you can see, I have a check mark here. That is because I completed the entire collection and I got the rewards of 3,000 Chronotes. So once I do complete the full collection, I can actually restart and I can cash in all of those artifacts again, and I can claim that reward again. So you can just continue doing this to gain Chronotes. Right now, Chronotes are selling for around 2.5k each. So getting 3,000 Chronotes, you know, that's around 7.5 mil. That's really, really good. It doesn't take too long to get all of the artifacts and restore them. So doing this for money, you'll probably make, you know, 5 to 10 mil per hour. It's roughly the same as gathering the materials. And I do see this money-making method being around for a little bit at least. I don't think Chronotes will drop in price that much, especially over the next few weeks. I think people will really be wanting them when they're pushing for 120. So this should be a pretty good moneymaker for a while. Now, there are actually other collectors that you can give these artifacts to. So as you can see, for this specific artifact, there are 2 different collections. So one is with the museum collector, and then the other is at the White Knight's castle. And as you can see, the reward is a Terra Compass piece, so it isn't Chronotes, but you will get the value of that artifact. So as you can see, it's 556 Chronotes that you will receive when you do cash in this artifact. It's just when you complete the collection, you'll get an item which will be useful for archaeology rather than getting Chronotes. Anyway, guys, that is pretty much it. So you can make money through archaeology from either collecting materials and selling them, or by gathering the artifacts and getting Chronotes with those and selling those. So both of these money making methods are really great. You'll be making around 5 to 10 mil per hour, maybe even more if you are a high archaeology level. And I don't see this money making method going away for a while actually. I was expecting the prices to really drop these first few days, and I'm sure they will drop a bit more, but they aren't dropping that much. They're still around 20k for lower level materials. So I would say that it is going to be a pretty good money making method for a while. These materials are still required at higher archaeology levels, so they will always be in demand. And also, since archaeology does seem relatively slow, I would say that will actually help with this and make these materials more expensive as well. So anyway guys, if you have any questions about any of these two methods, let me know in the comments down below. Also make sure you subscribe for more RuneScape 3 and archaeology content. I have been coming out with a lot of new archaeology content over the past few days, and I plan on doing this for the next week or two at least. I have started a new archaeology series, so definitely check that out as well. Anyway guys, I really hope you did enjoy this video and you found it helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.